News Radio 840 WHAS, good Sunday morning. Coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show, is getting your credit checked hurting your credit score? We'll find out. Also, is a Zillow estimate really accurate? And we're going to test your home improvement IQ. We're going to take a Zillow quiz. Hi, everybody. Bob Sokoler, Sokoler team, Remax Properties East. Welcome to another Louisville Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us, and I do hope it's a good Sunday morning for you. Joining us on today's show, we've got a variety of people here with us. First, in for Randy Rocky over at Swan Financial, Steve Phillips, who's a loan officer over there. You can reach Randy and the team, including Steve, at 645-0736. And Lee Harris, who is legal counsel at Limestone Title and Escrow, LLC. You can reach Lee and her folks at 649-7964. That's your actual cell phone. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, I'd love to help you. It's simple. You give me a call. I come out. It's free, no obligation. We talk about the process. And then if you like, we can go forward. We'll check comparables on my computer to see what your home is worth. You can reach me at 376-5483, or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit, and I'll give you a call back. So we've got a lot of questions on today's show. And again, we're going to test your home improvement IQ with this Zillow quiz coming up in just a little bit. A reminder, you can see a rebroadcast of today's show. Actually see it as well as hear it by going to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's LouisvilleAnswers.com. That will take you to our YouTube channel on this. All right, we are ready to go. Let's start with our first question over to Steve Phillips. Sally wonders about applying for a mortgage. Her friend says to be careful of making too many credit checks on her credit. And in this email, she wonders what is a hard inquiry or a soft pull. Let's start with that part of the question, Steve.
Yeah, certainly. So a soft pull is basically just going to give you the history and your activity of your accounts without generating an actual score that the three bureaus have in their algorithms. A hard inquiry is going to give you that credit score, which is basically all that information they give you on the soft pull, but kind of formatted, algorithmed, and put into an actual number. So those are the differences. A hard score usually will have an impact. Or a hard pull, will have an impact on your credit score, 3 to 5 points, which is something you usually get back in about a month's period of time with having your payments on time. A soft pull will not give you a score, and it does not have a negative impact on the actual score itself either, though. So one just has information, one has information in the actual score that most people want or need.
All right, so that's the first one of this question. Then she says, I don't want to hurt my credit. And she remembers Credit Karma making us think that one credit inquiry can destroy your credit score. So, Steve, elaborate on that for us, if you would.
So each credit inquiry you get is another hit. For mortgage rated reports, this is only for mortgages, no other type of consumer credit, but for mortgage rated reports, they do give you a window of opportunity to shop. So you can get multiple inquiries. Usually it's a 14-day window to have multiple mortgage lenders pull your credit. And inside that 14-day window, they're all going to pull the exact same report, all same score, with no added hits to the score. If you happen to go outside that 14-day window and get another mortgage credit inquiry, you will have an impact to your score, 3 to 5 points. But that also will open up another 14-day shopping window.
Okay, so that pretty much explains most of that. Would you suggest people check their credit score on a regular basis? And if so, Steve, how often?
So at least once a year, you can get your annual credit report once a year from the for free, and it's a full actual factual credit profile. So it will have everything on there that any other creditor or people that check your credit will have or see. So that's once a year. You do want to check it. You want to make sure nothing's been added that's erroneous, or make sure nothing has surprisingly came on there that you wasn't aware of.
Got it. All right. We move over to Lee Harris over at Limestone Title, which, by the way, they have great cookies. If you go to a closing there, the cookies are fabulous. Be careful. You can get addicted to those. So, Lee, Jimmy sold his house. Was scheduled to close on June 15th. He needed more time to get out of the house. So the buyer agreed to allow him to stay in the house over the weekend for a fee of $500. Jimmy agreed, took the weekend, exited the house, but has yet to pay. And the buyer sent us this email. Stephanie, who's the buyer, wants to know what legal action can she take against Jimmy. She has no paperwork, just apparently real estate agents going back and forth.
Great question, Stephanie. So if there was no money put back in escrow or like in a security deposit account or anything like that to hold this money to make sure that it was paid, then if you have an agreement for that, you're due that money. However, without the written paperwork or without it being held back in an account, it's going to be harder to track down, of course, because now you're going to have to go to small claims court, which is anything under $2,500, and that you'll probably win because you had this verbal agreement and you were very kind to him, but it will take a lot of effort to get that $500. You're going to have to go down there and file and pay a filing fee and, go back to your court date and all of that, and then you have to collect again. So if Jimmy bought a house or if he has a job, then you have ways of collecting. You could put a lien on his house after you get that judgment, or you could garnish his wages. So maybe a really strongly worded letter saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to go to small claims court unless you pony up the money by Friday or whatever day give him a few days to pay.
Good.
That might be the best bet.
Yep. Do you threaten him at any point, or do you not? Because that could be negative as well, right?
I would just say we had an agreement for $500. You haven't paid it. Please pay it by such and such a date at 5 p.m. Then if he doesn't pay it by that time, you'll know he's not intending to pay it. And you can then decide, do you want to make the effort? $500 is a lot of money, but it's also not a lot of money when you have to go to take off work and drive downtown and park your car and all those things. So that'll be your decision at that time.
One thing you can do on an easy basis is to check the references of anybody you're going to use. I highly suggest that, and we've made it easy for you to check our references. Go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com, and you can read our reviews and what we're about. Back over to Steve at Limestone. This question from Ethel sent us an interesting question. First of all, by the way, you can send me a question via email, bob@WeSellLouisville.com, and just put radio question in the subject line. We thank you for all of you who send in the questions. Ethel is asking, what is a HELOC? And she wants to know if she gets a HELOC, she doesn't know what it is, but if she gets one, will it affect her ability to refinance her mortgage loan on her home when rates come down? Steve?
So a HELOC, home equity line of credit. It's just a line of credit against the equity that you have built up on your home, and it goes against your property in the form of a second mortgage. There's different types. You can get a fixed, the line of credit is usually just, basically give you a debit card. You can treat the account, the line of credit, as a credit or a savings account, using the debit card at stores or pulling the money out as needed. As far as will it hurt her refinancing options, it definitely will be a factor in her getting an ability to qualify for that refinance. It's extra debt on the property. It raises the total loan to value or the combined loan to value. So she wants to be careful getting something like that, and definitely talk to her mortgage professional before pulling that trigger to look at both scenarios to make sure which is the best for her.
Got it. Joy sent us this question, actually probably for me because I'm the one who knows a little bit about this. She's wondering, is a Zillow Zestimate accurate? You may have heard about Zillow Zestimates. You can go on the Zillow site, you punch in your address. If it finds your address, it will give you a Zestimate of what the value of your home is worth. Now, much like the systems that we use, Zillow is using a computerized algorithm, which is pulling data that's available online to give you a Zestimate. And I will tell you, because they will tell you if you look carefully, that the Zestimate is typically 5 to 10% off either way. It could be a lot more, it could be less, but it's just a starting point. And they became famous, by the way, using Zestimate. It's a starting point for where you should be going. And by the way, we can do the same thing for you. If you want a second opinion and you're not happy with Zillow's estimate, we have some computers with different algorithms. You can go to WeSellLouisville.com. That's our main website. And at the very top, it says, find out what your home is worth. Click on that, fill it out, and it will come to you almost instantly. That's WeSellLouisville.com, and go to the top and you'll see the form that fill out. Lee Harris, Limestone. Angela lives in a townhome and says she's had 2 sewer backups in the past year, and half the townhome association, past 2.5 years she's had it, and the townhome association is refusing to reimburse her for damages. The townhome declaration page states the association is responsible for maintaining the sewer lines from the home to the county main, and that's what's happened. The sewer line collapsed, blocked the sewer located in the common area. Angela's wondering what's the next step. So she's got a sewer problem. That's a tough one. Very
good question. Yes. So typically when you have a townhome situation, a condo situation, anything like that, where there is shared ownership of the common areas, and you have a declaration that says that the HOA, the condo association, whoever, they're responsible for certain items, then they are responsible for those items. So sometimes condo associations or HOAs don't have any money, or sometimes they have a board who's trying to be fiscally conservative and doesn't want to put out money for something that might be expensive. Nevertheless, I would suggest going to the next published meeting of the HOA, presenting your estimates to them, and also a copy of that declaration page, and giving them, again, a short time to pay that. And if they don't, then if you're talking about over $2,500, then you're talking about going to court, and like circuit court, and that can also get quite expensive. But I think that's a pretty cut-dried answer in your favor if the declaration causes them to be responsible for it.
All right. A quick reminder, if you are thinking of selling your home, we have a free no obligation booklet that has hundreds of useful tips. If you want a copy, send an email to me, bob@wesellouisville.com, and put selling tips in the subject line, and I will send that back out to you. We are going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to test your home improvement IQ. We did one of these a couple of 6 months or so ago. It was interesting. This is a Zillow quiz that's out there, and I thought you might find it interesting, folks. Continuing with us, in for Randy Rocky at Swan Financial, Steve Phillips. And you can reach Randy and the crew at 645-0736. Also, Lee Harris, they do a great job of getting you closed, and she's legal counsel over at Limestone Title and Escrow. You can reach Lee at 649-7964. If you're thinking of selling your home now or maybe in the near future, I can help. You just call me and I'll come out. We'll talk. It's me. It's only me. There's no home too big, no home too small. We cover all of them. I'll come out both here and in Southern Indiana. We'll talk about the process, find out what the price is, what your home's worth, and then come up with a plan. It's free, no obligation for me to come out and talk as long as you need me. You can reach me at 376-5483 or go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, and then it will hit submit, and then I'll get it, and I'll give you a call back. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS. Thank you so much, Barbara Corcoran, for being a mentor and a friend, and we appreciate her endorsing us in the commercials. She's a great lady, and you can see her on Shark Tank on Channel 11, but also on CNBC. They do the reruns. It's just a lot of interesting information. And our continuing with our show to the top of the hour, staying with us, Lee Harris, legal counsel, Limestone Title and Escrow. You can reach Lee for a closing and many other legal aspects of this world. You can reach her at 649-7964. Also, in for Randy Rocky from Swan Financial. They do a great job of getting you to the closing table with a great loan. I just went through them, and it was a very easy process, mind you. Steve Phillips in for Randy, and you can reach Randy and his team at 649-0736. If you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, I would love to come out and talk to you about the process. It's free. There's no obligation. You just call me. I'll come out. We sit down. We talk. We look at the comparables on my computer. And then if you decide you want to sell, we go forward from there. You can reach me anytime at 376-5483. That's my direct cell phone. Or you go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit, and we are off and getting together. So Zillow came up with this interesting quiz. Which high-end edition has a better return is the first question. We're gonna question Steve and Lee. Since we're not live, I would take phone calls, but we'll use Steve and Lee as the contestants. So I thought this was fascinating. Which high-end edition has a better return in your mind? A bathroom or a main bedroom to add on to your house? Let's start with Lee. What are your thoughts?
Bathroom.
Bathroom? Okay, Steve.
Yeah, that's what I would think as well. The bathroom, that's where all the kitchen and bathrooms, that's where the money goes.
You're both right. On average, homeowners recoup about 45% of the cost of adding a high-end bathroom compared to only 38% of the cost for an upscale main bedroom. That's interesting. Next question, which replacement is a bigger bang for your buck? If you replace the windows or you replace your garage door? Steve, let's start with you on this one.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Well, windows are going to cost a lot more, but I think just the curb appeal is going to be the garage door, I would say.
All right. Garage door for you, Steve. Lee, how about yourself?
I'll go with windows.
Windows. All right. Steve's right on this one. Whether vinyl or wood, windows are expensive to replace, yes, and they don't typically hold their value. On the flip side, an upscale garage door costs about $4,500, and the average resale value is $8,750 that you get back. That's nearly a 200% return on your investment. I'm sure the window company's not so happy with that response, but it's true. Which mid-range remodel is a better return on investment? Is it your bathroom or your kitchen? If you are going to remodel part of your home, which one should you remodel, bathroom or kitchen? Lee, we start with you on this one.
Kitchen.
Kitchen, and on your suggestion, Steve?
Man, I'm trying to decide which one I spend more time in. I guess I'm going to go with kitchen still.
All right, both of you on kitchen. The correct answer is bathroom. Whether they're very close, mind you, they're very close. Mid-range bathroom remodel typically offers about a 74% return on your investment, while you will recoup 50% of the costs associated with a mid-range kitchen redo. Note that as well as a mid-range kitchen remodel typically costs as much more overall compared to a mid-range bathroom. The national average cost in 2024, nearly $80,000 to remodel your kitchen. Woo! While a bathroom is about $25,000, but still the bathroom wins on getting your return on back. So maybe a good investment.
Wow.
Which outdoor addition has a better return, folks? Is it a deck or a patio? And Steve, we'll start with you on this one. Deck or patio?
Oh, wow. We just got a new deck on ours, and it's made a huge difference. So that's my favorite. So I'll go with that.
Okay, so Lee, how about you?
I'll go with deck.
Deck. You're both right. Decks, while more expensive to build, typically have a higher return than patios. In 2024, the national average for recouped costs, which is what we're looking for wood decks, about 83% return on what you spend, while the more expensive composite decks were 68%. So if you get those ones that don't need to be maintained, they're more expensive, but you only get 68% back on the return. So deck over patio.
Surprising.
Yeah, it is. I was fascinated by this when I saw this as well. So that kind of gives you a rundown of some of the things that are, if you're thinking about doing some improvements. Let's go for one more. Which update's better? New roof, new siding. Which one, guys? New roof, new siding. Lee, let's start with you.
New siding.
Siding? Okay. And Steve?
I'm going to go roof.
According to this one's close, but the siding is slightly more lucrative, especially if the material is fiber cement. In some cases, we call that hardy board. 2024 national average for cost recouped on fiber cement siding is about 88% and 80% for vinyl siding. Replace your roof with asphalt shingles, you get about 60% of the recouped cost on average. So those are some of the Zillow things. I thought that was rather fascinating. Hope you did too. A reminder, if you want to see what sellers are saying about us, you can go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com or read our reviews, both buyers and sellers. All right, we're going back over to Lee Harris over at Limestone. Angela lives in, I'm sorry, I read that already. Margaret sent us an email and says her name is on the deed of her daughter's house. She helped her daughter purchase with no mortgage. Now she says she wants to remove her name from the deed. She's wondering, how do you do that, Lee?
Oh, that should be simple. If there's no mortgage, then you just need to do a quick claim deed where you, and if you're married, your spouse, sign off your interest to your daughter. If she's married, then her spouse could also be on there on the new deed, but it's very inexpensive. You can call me or any real estate attorney. We could draft one up for you pretty quickly and file it of record, and then you're off and running. You don't have any more responsibility for that house.
Hope that helps you, Margaret. We move on. Arthur is our next emailer on this, Steve, over at Limestone Title. I'm sorry, over at Swan Financial. Arthur says he and his spouse are both veterans. In this email, he says they are eligible for a VA home loan. He's wondering, can they use the loans to purchase a vacation home or a rental investment property? So yeah,
VA will allow you to buy an investment property, or not an investment property, a second home. They want you, if you're going to do an investment, they want you to live in the home. They really are primarily just trying to get veterans into primary residences, but they've recently expanded where they will let you do a secondary residence as needed if you meet certain thresholds, which, can't be in the same town and has to be at least 50 miles away from your primary. Plus, it also has to have some sort of a benefit to it. There's a reason, location, a beach, water area. So, but they will allow a secondary residence. If you wanted to turn a VA loan into an investment property, you would have to live in the home for a 12-month period, and then from there, that's when you're eligible for your secondary residence purchase.
Okay, good. Moving back over to Lee Harris at Limestone. Timothy lives in a condo, a high-rise building. He says that the pipe inside a wall of the building broke, leaking water into his unit and caused damage to the ceiling. This is not an unusual occurrence, is it, Lee? We hear about this on a regular basis.
All the time. Yeah.
So the damage to the ceiling, the drywall, and the wood floor. In the email he sent us, he's wondering who's responsible for the repairs. Is the insurance company or the owner of the condo above or his condo association? Lee.
Yes, great question. So condos are typically from the drywall in, and the condo association a lot of times owns what's not from the drywall in, and they're responsible to ensure that and to fix those things. If it happened to be the neighbor's pipes or the neighbor's negligence that caused this leak, then their homeowner's insurance would probably have to cover it. If it was actually just something that was wrong with the pipes that are owned by the entire association, then their insurance should cover it. But yes, it happens all the time, and the two different entities are always fighting over who's supposed to pay for it.
Yeah, not unusual. This is a continuing problem, but it's a fact of life. We move back over to Steve Phillips over at Swan Financial, who's in for Randy Rocky. Clara is wondering in this email, if she loses her home in a foreclosure, can she ever buy a home again? And she's wondering what impact will a foreclosure have on her credit report? Interesting question. That's unfortunate. We're seeing more of those questions as well. Steve?
Well, unfortunately, it is going to have an impact, but it's not forever. Generally, foreclosures will have an impact on your history or your mortgage or your ability to get a new mortgage for 7 years. If you have extenuating circumstances, and it's documented and with the right authorization from the lender, you may be able to cut that time down.
Oh, okay. But this is a serious problem, and it will affect for a number of years, depending upon the type of mortgage that you have, whether it's FHA or conventional or BA. Am I correct on that, Steve?
Yes. They're all going to be impacted. Different. Each individual type of loan will have its own parameters, but for the most part, 7 years is going to be a lot of the foreclosure window.
Got it. All right. Well, I think we have time for one more. Lee, you've got it. Ed sent in this email. He just inherited a rental property that has a couple living there. He says they've actually been living there for 25 years. It also, in the email, it says there's no official contract between the renters and the owners. So he told the current renters he would keep the payment agreement as it's been. But Ed says after recently visiting to make repairs, he discovered the house is in terrible shape and needs multiple repairs, which will cost more than the house is worth. And Ed is thinking the house could be unsafe and is wondering what should he do as a brand new owner. This is a problem, especially in Louisville, where they've just gone into at the beginning of this month, these new deal with the city where they're going to come out and inspect, and not only that, but also look for lead-based paint. There's a whole scenario that all renters who are listening right now are shaking their heads going, yeah. So what should Ed do in this case where the problem may be much bigger than the house is worth?
Well, the first step is they're on a month-to-month lease. They've probably been on a month-to-month lease for 24 of those 25 years, which means that you just have to give them 30 days notice from the beginning of the next month to say, I don't want you to be renting here anymore, and it doesn't have to be for any reason, but it could certainly be for a health and safety reason if he needs to get in there and get the house redone. I'd say that's probably his best bet. I hate to displace someone who's been there 25 years, but if their house is not safe or if it's in disrepair, then it might be his best bet to have them move out and, if he can, refurbish the house or sell it, since it was an inheritance, maybe recoup some funds. But, obviously he has to decide whether he wants to throw good money after bad and spend more than the house is worth on repairs if he's going to rent it out again. So I would say give them notice and tell them that they should find a new place so that he can refurbish the house.
All right. I'm speaking out of turn here, but not being an inspector, I'm going to go a little different here. What if Ed hires an inspector, goes in, they check the house out, and they determine, first of all, that way he'll know whether it is safe or unsafe. If it's safe, because he's not an expert, I'm presuming he just inherited this house. He may not have had other rental homes before. If it's safe, he just makes minor repairs and keeps it going. And if it's unsafe, he explains to the renters, okay, listen, you're going to have to find temporary housing. We're going to need to increase the rent to cover the costs. So he's not just throwing them out permanently, but he gives them options, right?
Absolutely. That's definitely plan B.
So, and one more final thought on this, Lee. If it is unsafe, so all of us who, and I don't include myself in this, but I'm generically everybody who owns a rental property, if it's unsafe and something should happen, is the owner on the hook for liability to the occupants, or is it the insurance company? Who actually is?
Well, yes, I'm sure that if you have rental property, you should have insurance that covers rental properties, not just regular homeowners insurance. You should also have an umbrella policy, which covers a little bit more, general liability over the amount of your insurance policy for your property. But yes, if somebody falls or if it's unsafe and you knew about it and you didn't fix it, then the landlord could be on the hook. Their insurance company, in other words, if they have insurance, would be on the hook to potentially have personal injury or something like that. So you want to make sure that your rental properties are up to speed.
Yeah, please don't play easy with the rules and take them seriously. I'm with you 100%, which actually brings up a next week's show because we're out of time. And we're going to talk about keeping your home as cool as possible with air conditioning and keeping it safe from basement flooding. That's on next week's show. My thanks to Steve Phillips, who was filling in and did a great job for Randy Rocky. You can reach Randy and the folks over at Swan Financial. They do a great job of getting home loans to the closing table and get great rates. You can reach Randy at 645-0736. Also, Lee Harris, who is legal counsel at Limestone Title and Escrow. She's a fabulous resource for all of us who are in the real estate industry and also for the folks who listen to the show. If you have a legal question, Lee is here, and here's her cell phone, 649-7964. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the near future, I'd love to help you. It's simple. You give me a call. I come out. It's free, no obligation. We talk about the process. And then if you like, we can go forward. We'll check comparables on my computer to see what your home is worth. And you can reach me at 376-5483, or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form, hit submit, and I'll give you a call back. That's it. We're out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS. All right, you guys. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care,
Have a good one.
All right.
Okay.
Enjoy your
Talk to you
vacations,
soon.
both of you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.